sweeteners increase my risk for developing type 2 diabetes. Well, not mine because I never have them in the diet, but my fine friends know that they can. According to a recent meta-analysis on around 500,000 people, they assessed the risk of developing type 2 diabetes mellitus based on the consumption of different types of beverages, of higher consumption of either sugar-sweetened beverages, artificial sweetened beverages, fruit juice, or coffee or tea. And what the results showed was those who had higher consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages were at a 15% increased risk for developing type 2 diabetes. There was also a 15% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes in those that had artificially sweetened beverages. And that's interesting. We'll talk about that in a second here. There was an 8% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes in those that had fruit juice, higher consumption of it at least. And there was a 11% reduced risk of developing type 2 diabetes mellitus in those that had higher coffee or tea intake. So coffee and tea, very good. Very, very good for your gut microbiome, for insulin sensitivity, for reducing your risk of developing type 2 diabetes mellitus. So we get the whole, okay, have more sugar, sugar-sweetened beverages, you're drinking soda, you're drinking fruit juice, a lot of sugar. All right, these types of things, they reduce your insulin sensitivity. Insulin's got to tell your cells to absorb all the sugar. Insulin's working hard all the time. Eventually it stops working as well, diabetes, right? Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. But with non-nutritive sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, things like sucralose, neotame, aspartame, all that kind of crap, right? What's going on here? Well, they disrupt your gut microbiome, okay? So they can actually damage the cells that line your epithelial wall or the wall of your intestines, right? And maintaining this wall is important, not only for preventing leaky gut, which they increase your risk for, right? But for also contributing to a healthy and diverse gut microbiome. Your gut microbiome can control your insulin sensitivity because it produces things that regulate all sorts of hormones, including insulin, right? And so your gut bacteria, they eat fiber and then they produce things called metabolites. And this process of producing metabolites in the body we call the metabolome, right? If you know, you're like, I heard of the microbiome, I hear probiotic, prebiotic, the metabolome. What the hell is that? It's basically just how metabolites are involved in the proper normal functioning of cells throughout the entire body. And one example would be butyrate. Butyrate is something that, again, when our gut bacteria eat fiber, they produce. And butyrate serves as the major energy source for the cells that line our gut wall, right? And so we can keep that nice and healthy. Now, these artificial sweeteners also, they directly reduce insulin sensitivity. Sucralose so you can't process blood sugar as well, right? Explaining how they could increase your risk for developing type 2 diabetes mellitus. Something like sucralose kills up to half the beneficial bacteria in your gut, not to mention causes things like DNA damage, right? So even aside from type 2 diabetes, it just ain't good at all, right? So you think, oh, this has no sugar in it. This is fine. I'm not going to get diabetes. That's all about having too much sugar. Well, if you have a lot of artificial sweeteners as well, that could also increase your risk relatively significantly, right? Again, it was 15% increased risk in people with a higher intake. And that's a decent bit. Right, so why is coffee good for the gut microbiome? Well, it increases the richness and evenness of your gut microbiome. So we could say the evenness, meaning the balance between beneficial and harmful bacteria. It creates a good balance, right? More beneficial, and helps to promote a more diverse, robust gut microbiome. All right, it's full of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds that help your gut go through these reactions where the bacteria break down things like fiber and they produce these metabolites, right? And they regulate a lot more than blood sugar, you guys. Immune function, appetite, fat storage, mood, all sorts of things, rates of muscle growth and metabolism and fat storage, right? And some larger studies, there was a randomized control trial we'll reference here, around 120 people, it's like 124 or whatever. It showed that 4 cups of coffee in a day actually had no significant effect on insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance, anything that's bad, which is a bad thing, insulin resistance, right? And so It's reduced insulin sensitivity. It's really the same thing, right? Pretty synonymous. So it didn't really have a negative effect there at all. No significant effect. But it had a positive effect on the richness, the robustness in the gut microbiome, reducing fat and lowering creatinine levels. Creatinine is associated with kidney function. And so if you have higher levels of creatinine, it means your kidneys just ain't working right. And so coffee was even good for that as well. And these were people that had 4 cups in a day, you guys. So no, if you're gonna have these artificially sweetened things, even though they don't have sugar, even though it shows no added sugar on a label, they could still increase your risk relatively significantly for developing type 2 diabetes. And nobody wants type 2 diabetes. It's like one of the worst diseases in the world. You get glycation of sugar, and glycation is sugar, right? Sticking to things, blood vessel walls, your nerves, right? Glycation of nerves, glycation of blood vessels, that's not going to be good. There's a lot of crud in your blood, increased risk for infection and amputation, and it's terrible for your brain, and it makes you not be able to process sugar, obviously, and then you're storing more fat and you're producing more fat. It's just terrible, right? And so we want to avoid that. Exercise is one of the best ways you can improve your insulin sensitivity. If you're curious, eating a lot of healthy fats and fiber, things like that, right? And don't skimp out on protein either. Super important for a whole lot. We got a birthday before we get out of here, and that's Frank Giacoio. Frank, happy birthday, man. You look awesome at your age. You look awesome in general, and I hope you have an awesome day today. This one's for you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Frank Giacoio. Happy birthday to you. So many more, Frank. Have an awesome one, dude. I'm sure you're going to go to the gym because you love doing that. And take your Super You first and feel damn good. I'm glad you like it. Gino told me you do. The great one. Cheyenne, what's up? C9. Erica, how you doing? How you doing? RP. That's Sabia, baby. What's going on, darling? Ash, hello, pretty girl. TJ Tang and Bull City King. As for now. So we got for you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Gotta go treat a bunch of patients, train somebody in the gym, do a lot of good stuff, do some marketing. We're not sure where, not sure when. We're gonna see you tomorrow, but we'll see you then. Have an awesome day. Thank you so much. Happy Win Wellness.